Open up a tab, grab a seat, and pour a pint. It's time for the Beer Guys Radio Show.
You want free beer? Go to the brewery.
Dedicated to the art, science, and enjoyment of craft beer.
Yo, what's wrong with the beer we got?
Now, here are your hosts, Tim Dennis and Aaron Williams.
And welcome to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We are radio for the local craft beer movement, broadcasting from our Tiger-free studios at AM 920 The Answer in Buckhead. I'm Aaron Williams.
And I'm Tim Dennis. And this week we're talking to Roswell's first farm-to-table brew pub from the Earth Brewing. We got owner Tim Stevens here, and we've got Elle Sharpton in the studio with us.
Yeah.
We do.
Guys, how you doing today?
Fantastic. How about yourself?
Is From the Earth a Tiger-free brew pub?
Currently,
for now.
Yes,
for now.
That's good, yes.
We'll see.
Yes.
I could imagine the guy who saw or actually it was the backyard who they shot the tiger with, unfortunately. He was like, it's not something you see every day. Like, well, no.
Really? For those totally out of the loop on this, a tiger got loose on I-75 on the south side of Atlanta, and the police had to shoot it because it went after a dog.
Yeah, jumped in someone's backyard.
Wow.
Like, oh, there's a tiger outside. That hasn't happened in 5 years.
I saw that on I saw it on Facebook first, and it said tiger in Georgia goes after dog, and I'm like, this is some college football prank stuff.
Yeah.
Dogs and tigers and that.
Clemson.
So I was like, oh, okay. Apparently not.
Yeah.
Yo, is it a wrap for that tiger?
I thought there was. But I thought, though, I used to live in that neighborhood, actually, the neighborhood next door to where they shot the tiger. And there was like a lot of like hip-hop artists and stuff like that lived there. So I'm wondering if they were like shooting a video or something. But apparently it was an actual former Barnum and Bailey's tiger that was,
circus
was
tiger
done there.
Yeah.
So,
It's dead.
yeah.
It's gone,
former,
man.
It's
It
gone.
is, yes.
R.I.P. the tiger. But we can transition to much nicer news, though, as opposed to dead
the first week
tigers.
of direct sales, Aaron.
I mean, look, I don't know, but
man.
it's
How
been
about
awesome.
it? So what'd you do this week?
Listen, I went on a little rampage out there the past week or so. My wife has not seen my bank account yet, so she's not going to yell at me until she sees that. But anyway, I went to 3 taverns, checked that out for the German Chocolate Helms Deep release. I had that. That was a lot of fun. Got some Inceptus as well. Went to Wild Heaven, got some of their Fortress of Sourtude. We've got both of those here, so we'll crack those open in a little bit, and really enjoyed it. Another one I enjoyed, by the way, Terrapin's Dave's Not Here, a double IPA. Never had that before. Went to Lincoln Field the other day and had it. It was fantastic. It's exactly what I want in a double IPA. A little bit of that resinous, just lovely, kind of West Coast thing, and it was delicious. And Tim, you and I went to a Second Self event the other day.
We did. I made the rounds this week. I think I set a personal record for Georgia brewery visits. I think I've visited 6 this week.
It's amazing what happens when you can actually buy beer to go and buy beer.
It is.
As
so
you
convenient.
like.
And now I got to go to all these breweries again and check them out again. So it's a good time. But I went to Burnt Hickory last week for the midnight release, of course, and then checked out 3 taverns, Wild Heaven, Scofflaw, Dry County, and Second Self.
You're a wild man.
So we made the rounds, man. Had to go check them all out. But Second Self is fun. They're previewing what they're calling their Brewers Series there. Mm-hmm. And they're having all the employees brew their own beers, ideas and that. So they're featuring some small batch there, taproom only stuff. So it was cool. Had some hazy IPAs, and they did a BSH. Wasn't that what it was called?
Yes.
Bourbon-soaked hops. So they soaked the hops in bourbon and then put them in the beer.
It was interesting, yeah.
Cool stuff.
Yeah, and the Red Hop Rye, unfortunately, I've heard is being discontinued, which is my favorite, or will be. So I had to get a 6-pack of that.
Yeah.
But they're also barrel aging that too. So they had a bourbon barrel aged Red Hop Rye, which I thought was fantastic. So that was good stuff.
Lots of good stuff.
Absolutely.
Man. Absolutely.
Speaking of good stuff, let's talk about what we've got here in the studio. It's time for Truck and Tap's Beers of the Week.
Crack open a cold one. It's the Truck and Tap Beer of the Week. Woo-hoo! Craft beer and food trucks in downtown Woodstock. Truckandtap.com.
And we've got some great stuff. Like I said, a lot of cork and cage, which is always a good thing.
We do, man. So we started out with our pregame was Sweetwater Woodland's new Pit and Pendulum Cherry version, which actually releases today at the brewery. You can go over there and get it. No tour required. Just go in there and get your bottles. They're doing these in 375 milliliter bottles, where the previous ones were in 750. This is fantastic. This is really good.
Yeah, I love this one.
And I was a fan of the original version, which had peach, and we've actually just opened that one as well to compare. This one's better, much better, and that's no slight on the original. This is just really, really good. So
yeah,
a little more sour. The cherry really stands out. So that's really nice. We also have Southbound Picture of Nectar. Thank you so much for hooking us up with those Southbound. We had 3 taverns, Blueberry and Septus. And we have Wild Heavens Peach Sour, which is Fortress of Sour 2.
Yeah, and also the From the Earth guys, Tim Stevens brought something as well. What did you bring in the growler? Which
We've got
good.
an Imperial Stout here that is not quite shelf ready, but we wanted to give you guys a little sneak preview of what we're doing.
Good deal. Like we appreciate it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, cool. We'll crack those open in just a few minutes. But first, let's check out this week's headlines.
What's in the news? The beer guys have the scoop.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Time for headlines. Sponsored by Your Pie Perimeter in the Perimeter Place Shopping Center across from Perimeter Mall.
We've got a lot of things going on out there in the news. But first, I also want to give a shout out to our man behind the wheels of steel, Marquise Davis. By the way, he is the man.
And he's wearing an awesome shirt this week,
He is.
too,
And the great thing about it is, I don't have to run the board now, so I can actually do a good job because
more
I sucked.
drinking, right?
Well, that's right. More drinking. That's
Yes,
very cool. Yeah,
absolutely.
So Becky Klein and of course field operative Brian Hewitt is with us as well in the stuff. So headlines. Interesting thing from Kona Beer actually. There's a lawsuit right now over Kona Beer not being brewed in Hawaii, and a judge has allowed it to proceed. So the federal judge actually called Hawaii a state as well as a state of mind, and it refused to dismiss a lawsuit accusing the maker of Kona Craft Beer of misleading consumers into believing the beer was actually made in Hawaii, causing them to overpay. So they said that despite a disclaimer on Kona packaging saying that the beer was brewed in a couple of different states, the Hawaiian address, the map of Hawaii identifying Kona's brewery on the Big Island, and the statement, visit our brewery and pubs whenever you're in Hawaii, are specific and measurable representations of fact that could deceive a reasonable customer.
Okay, with the map and address and all that, I kind of see what they're saying there.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say I'm not a big Kona drinker, so I didn't know they went that in depth.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what goes on. I believe, Brian, didn't you say a lawsuit similar to this? They actually did settle this it was over Heineken, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
I think Heineken and Beck's or something like that.
brewed.
Yeah, exactly. So interesting stuff. I guess you got to watch out where you market. So. Yes. Another article we've got about craft beer. Of course, their argument for not selling out is totally flawed, according to this article in Business Insider. And it's great news for Anheuser-Busch and Heineken. Now, they had a UBS Evidence Labs third annual survey of roughly 1,200 alcohol consumers. And basically 45% of American drinkers from that survey believe that independence does not matter when picking a craft beer. And only 30% of respondents said independence was extremely important when it comes to craft beer. So it's interesting. I always have a problem with some of these surveys because, that's great for the average beer drinker. But when you're talking about someone who's a craft beer fan, I think it matters a lot more.
It does. Yeah. And that's just it. We're in our bubble here.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
Everyone we know cares about that, or most of the people we know. And if they don't care about it, we tell them why they should. So, it's one of those things that, but yeah, I don't think your average craft beer drinker really, if the beer's good, and even some of the guys that are into craft beer still say, look, if the beer's good, I don't care where it's coming from. I just want to enjoy my beer.
Yeah, look, I admit I've had my fair share of AB InBev beers, and I still
gasp.
I know, gasp, it's terrible, but we've all had that friend who says, "Oh, I love craft beer, I love Blue Moon," and you're like, "Wait a minute, that's not right."
Sure.
Yes, so that
and you
happens.
know what? If you like Blue Moon and that's your thing, power to you.
Absolutely,
you do you.
Yeah, I'm not. We don't judge on the Beer Guys radio show. Exactly, but
not on air anyhow.
Well, no, yeah, off air
right.
we'll silently judge you,
absolutely.
but that's okay. And finally, one more story here out of AB InBev, more AB InBev news. It's hundreds of employees have been laid off of the high end, which is, of course, their high end craft beer market, which includes breweries like Elysian, 10 Barrel, Devil's Backbone, and places like that.
Wicked
Weed, that's right.
Yes.
They've had numerous acquisitions over the past year or so. It's kind of hard to keep track, but apparently they have laid off almost 400 people from that division. Now, the good news is for folks is that the people who are actually working for those breweries did not get affected by it, but apparently they're restructuring corporately and they're trying to make it more efficient. So, unfortunately, a lot of folks are without jobs this weekend.
That seems like a huge support department for someone who'd acquired so many businesses. To have 380 to lay off, I wonder how many are left now. But, it had to happen. Acquiring that many companies, that's not really that surprising when you bring that many personnel into it.
Yeah, and you see a lot of people, it happens all the time in a lot of businesses. You get those mergers and you combine the forces and all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, I don't need double the amount of people to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Beer Guys radio show. Coming back, we're going to be talking to Tim Stevens and Al Sharpton about From the Earth Brew Pub, and we'll be back right after this.
Andrew and Lisa with Your Pie Perimeter here. We'd like to invite you to our store for a beer.
Is there anything better than pizza?
Yep, brick oven pizza that's made fresh and paired with a cold craft beer.
That's what you get at Your Pie Perimeter, located in the Perimeter Place Shopping Center by Perimeter Mall.
It's the perfect place to relax on the patio with a pint after work or bring the family in.
Andrew and Lisa, I'm going to let you finish, but first, you forgot to mention the $3 craft beer specials you have every Thursday. I mean, come on, the pizza's great, but that's an amazing deal. $3 craft beer specials every Thursday. Now, go ahead and finish your commercial.
Follow Your Pie Perimeter on Facebook for all of our beer events and specials.
That's Your Pie Perimeter, located in Perimeter Place Shopping Center next to Chipotle.
We are Reformation Brewery, celebrating the reformer in you. Locally crafted within the renowned Etowah watershed of Woodstock, Georgia, Reformation creates yeast-forward brews full of aroma and flavor crafted to last. Come see us in beautiful Woodstock, Georgia for a tour and tasting of unique brews that you can't find anywhere else. Reformation Brewery. Set beer free. ReformationBrewery.com.
It's Aaron and Tim, the beer guys. If you're like us, no lunch or dinner is complete without a pint or two of craft beer.
Which is why Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock is always on our list. Tim, why do they call it Truck and Tap?
Well, the tap part is easy. They have 12 of them. Bottles, too. Not sure what to drink? All of their beer servers are Cicerone certified. And if you got someone who isn't a beer fan, not to worry. Truck and Tap carries wine, mixed drinks, and even handcrafted sodas.
As for the truck part, well, that's when it gets interesting. Truck and Tap features your favorite Atlanta area food trucks daily. That way, you're getting a different menu every day.
Check it out, Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock. Truckandtap.com. Let them know that the beer guys sent you.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
What in tarnation?
Now, back to the Beer Guys radio show.
And welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. BeerGuysRadio.com is our website. We're broadcasting from our AM 920 The Answer studios in Buckhead. And in studio with us today, we have got Tim Stevens, owner of From the Earth Brew Pub, which is Roswell's first farm-to-table brew pub. And hanging out next with us is Dennis Malcolm Byron, a.k.a. Ale Sharpton, just because he's a cool guy.
He is cool.
We want to class up the joint by bringing him in here.
Level, but between Brian's beard...
Yep.
And Ale's just overall coolness.
Exactly.
It does help us out.
If I miss the same sentence of that beer, I'm all right.
So there we go.
We're
doing good.
That's a nice beard.
So we cracked open during the break Three Taverns, a Blueberry and Septus. Their wild ale, of course, a little bit of blueberry action. I know Marquise is like digging on that. He's a big fan of the sours, but it's a good
really
beer.
Good.
I'm glad I waited in line for it.
Delicious.
All of their Inceptus versions have been really nice.
Yeah.
This was a September 1st release, too.
There you go.
Celebrating the
Exactly.
walls there. So.
Exactly.
Well, Tim, thanks so much for joining us. Al, you as well, man. Always good to have you in here with us. So
Pleasure's mine, man.
Let's talk beer.
Yeah. Please.
So how did From the Earth get started? Well, how did the idea get formed there?
Well, I guess it was a trip up to Asheville 3 or 4 years ago, and I actually visited Wicked Weed. We were talking about that earlier, and was just really impressed with the concept. Enjoyed the beers, and loved that whole kind of chef-driven seasonal menu, and we kind of morphed into our own little concept here with From the Earth.
Now, Tim, you're formerly of Cook Hall, which is in the W Restaurant, or W Hotel here in Atlanta, and also with the Buckhead Life Group as well.
Yes.
Correct?
Spent many years with Buckhead Life.
Yes.
Had a couple of my own restaurants over in Birmingham.
Okay.
Moved back, was with a culinary group out of New York, Jean-Georges Culinary Concept,
Yep.
that ran Cook Hall. And most recently, I just helped Kaiser's Chop House open with Peter Kaiser and Kevin Rathman.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. I'm a former alumni of the Buckhead Life Group, too. I was a server at the Atlanta Fish Market about 1 million years ago.
Yeah,
so it was, which basically it was long enough for me to know that I will never want to be a server for longer than about 6 months, and I'm good.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah. But anyway, no, with your fine dining experience, how did this kind of help you in developing this idea and this concept?
Well, what we want to do is we want to try to give that same level of service and food quality, beverage options in a casual atmosphere. And that's really kind of the drive behind our concept is quality food, quality beverages, whether it's wine by the glass, whether it's house-made brews, whether it's, local guest taps, craft cocktails, whatever the beverage of choice, we want to do the best we can and offer a great option for all the people in Roswell.
Now, if I understand correctly, you're bringing in the big guns to put this together, right? From both the food and beer side.
The Kevin team is definitely on board.
Yes.
That's a good team.
Yeah. Kevin Rathbun is an investor, and we've been friends for a number of years, a mentor and all around great guy. Kevin McNerney has really opened many doors, especially when it comes to our brew system that he had custom designed. Well, he designed it, and Craftworks out of Detroit built it, and we are just super excited to get it fired up because it is a piece of work.
Yeah, I know Kevin kind of casually, friend of a friend, and we went to his restaurants. Kevin Rathbun Steak seems to be our celebration destination.
There's nothing wrong with that.
So we've been there.
It is fantastic.
Yeah,
and just fantastic. I've never had anything less than a phenomenal meal and experience there. He's just such a chill guy.
Yep.
And he'll stroll by the table and just say hi, and what he does with his restaurants and food is just amazing. Give me some thick cut bacon, a lettuce wedge salad, the blue cheese wedge, and a nice steak. Wrap
Prime
it
steak.
off.
All right, we're
Some
going.
baked Alaska.
Yeah.
So good stuff.
Yeah,
Sure.
But I mean, so now, why did you decide on Roswell as a location?
Roswell was always the number one location. We live in Roswell. My kids go to school in Roswell. My wife grew up in East Cobb. Has a lot of family and friends around Roswell. We wanted to do this in a area that we want to give back to and we want to be a part of. So kind of full circle, whether it's giving hops to the local, the spent grain to the local farmers. To there's a local soap maker that wants to use our spent grain and soap. We just want to really be a part of the whole community, and that's it. Become a neighborhood gathering spot.
Roswell is big on artisan. I mean, for lack of just a general better term, anyhow. That's a lot of the breweries, restaurants, and all that. That's very popular over there. So
it's a great scene. I mean, there's great breweries already. There's Gate City, obviously, Abbey of the Holy Goats, Variant, which we're really excited about, and then we're going to be the fourth. We might be the third. I don't know how close Variant is.
See how they get there.
We're kind of in a race,
Yes.
but and the food options is kind of we're all just Mel, which is Foundation Social Eatery right next to us. It does a fantastic job, and I mean the food scene on the east side of Roswell really hasn't grown as much as downtown and the west side of Roswell, but hopefully we will help generate that and pick up the ball a little bit.
That sounds like a plan. Yeah. So now, Ale, you've kind of seen that the Roswell beer scene grow a little bit as too. Is it kind of becoming more of a destination spot for us as opposed to being in town? Yeah.
I mean, everything surrounding Atlanta is starting to really get it. Where outside the perimeter is actually pretty cool. It's going. I hung out with Tim. We went down to downtown Roswell, which was really fun, and hopped around and went to a few places. And just the development over the years has been tremendous. And now he's going to be helping out with the other sector, and like he mentioned, Foundation. That's an awesome restaurant. Shout out to Chef Mel. He's a great guy, and now with him, they're friends. They're very neighborly, and he's really dedicated to really develop that area.
Yeah, it's going to be fun out there, too. We just mentioned Variant. I'm really looking forward to them opening up in Gate City. A really kind of almost an unheralded brewery, for lack of a better term. Their OTP IPA is fantastic. I'm a huge fan of that one. So
Terminus Porter, too.
Yeah, that's a good one, too.
They do really good stuff. And they're ones, when they were on the show, I mentioned some of these new breweries start up, and I know you're going to come out of the gate swinging, but I never judge too hard on a brand new brewery, because even if you've been brewing homebrew sized batches for years that are fantastic, you got to learn your new system and get everything worked out. Now, you don't want to put out bad beer, but if a beer is decent, I would expect that under most cases it's going to improve a little bit, over the course of a year or so.
We kind of talked about that as well, and we'll taste a couple little secrets.
See how that's out there. Yeah,
but again, with a professional system, you have not many worries of oxidation and just so many different things that are going to happen when you're home brewing, unless you have we're cooking on a stove.
Right.
So
yeah.
It is what it is. But I think, with McNerney's guidance, I think we've really dialed these recipes in.
And of course, Kevin McNerney is one of the founders of Sweetwater from way back in the day, and so he certainly knows his way around a brew house, doesn't
Absolutely.
he?
and a hell of a guy to boot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he really is a
and
good guy.
brewmaster at 5 Seasons Prado, correct?
That's correct.
So
and shout out to Jamie, too.
Jamie Parker, Kevin handpicked Jamie, and he's been mentoring him for the past 3 months when Jamie's on board. Jamie most recently was the head brewer at Slice and Pint, and really brings a lot to the table. So I'm really excited to work with the whole team.
Okay, and he's your head brewer, I assume.
Jamie
correct?
Parker
Right.
is. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Awesome, great. Now, what we got a little time here before the break, so we'll just dip into this. But what type of beers, what style should we expect to see from you out of the gate?
Out of the gate, our goal is to open with 6.
Okay.
With 4 fermenters and 4 bright beer tanks, that is a bit of a challenge, but we're gonna work our way around.
See what you can do,
but
right?
Our goal is we're gonna open with an IPA, which we'll maybe do a sneak peek of that as well. Our Imperial Stout, Porter, a double IPA, a triple, and what was the 6th? Oh, Hefeweizen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it's and a Hefe is something that a lot of folks like, but we don't get a lot of around here, actually.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It's also a good beer to pair with food. So
Big Tim is also really going to make sure he's not going to put it out if it's not up to par. He's a perfectionist of what he does. So
that's good. Yeah.
Seeing him during the process has been really awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah,
so
that's
cool.
the goal.
We're looking forward to it. We're going to take a quick break right now. We'll be back and talking more with Tim from the Earth Brew Pub and Ale Sharpton, of course. And when we get back, Tim Dennis has his Whale of the Week, and we'll have the hot list coming up. BeerGuysRadio.com. We'll be back right after this. Check us out on the Facebooks, Instagram, and Twitters. We'll be back again right after this.
If you're into craft beer, you need to check out Drink This Beer. It's a podcast from the creators of Beer Guys Radio. Tim Dennis and Aaron Williams talk to some of the best and most important brewers across the country and the world. So if you like to drink beer, pull up a chair and crack open the Drink This Beer podcast. Available on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts.
There is something in the air in Kennesaw. I'm sure you've noticed it. It is the sweet, sweet smell of barbecue permeating from The Nest, a new barbecue and beer restaurant in K-Town. The Nest is your new restaurant if you really love barbecue. Ribs, brisket, chicken, oh my. Did we mention the bar? The Nest of Kennesaw offers 49 taps of craft beer and an amazing bottle list as well. It's quite simple. If you really like barbecue and craft beer, you have to visit The Nest, barbecue and beer in Kennesaw, near historic downtown on Cherokee.
Have you ever thought about owning your own brewery, but don't know what it takes to get one built? We're CRL Contracting, and we build breweries. We are the most experienced contractors in the state of Georgia when it comes to building new breweries and tap rooms, or expanding current breweries. If you've been to Orpheus, Second Self, or Scofflaw, then you know what kind of work we can do. Just give us a call at 678-546-3382 or visit crlcontracting.com for more information. CRL Contracting. We build breweries. crlcontracting.com.
Ahoy there, mateys! Hunting whales? We've got you covered with Tim's Whale of the Week.
I love it when we start drinking whales, by the way, here on the
Yes.
show, which is great. So you got one of them on the list.
All whales, all the time.
There you go.
So, yes. So, one we mentioned earlier is Sweetwater's Cherry Pit and Pendulum. So, releasing today. Go get you some because this is delicious. So, you got to get it. Burnt Hickory's Charred Walls of the Damned, also releasing today. That's their bourbon barrel aged quad, which is annual release that they do. So, one worth checking out. And one that I just saw a little bit earlier that I have to find a collaboration beer between Burial, Three Taverns, and Verzette. And it's called The Filled Has Eyes, and it's a Brett Saison. So I think they said there's only one keg here. Limited beer, there's some bottles.
All right.
Bottles around and a keg floating around somewhere.
We have our quest. We need to go find that.
So that's it. Keep an eye out for those this week.
Excellent. Very cool. Well, welcome back. Again, we're talking to Tim Stevens, owner of From the Earth Brew Pub in Roswell, and the mighty Ale Sharpton hanging out next to us as well, just because got to class up to join around here every once in a while. So, yeah, we've been talking about your beers, which is always awesome. But let's talk about the other side of the house. About the food.
Yeah, the food. The food side.
You come from a food background.
Sure.
You come from a fine dining background. What can we expect when you guys are ready to open?
Well, we hired a chef about 3 weeks ago, Matt Meacham. He most recently is from Aria. Great background.
That's a great restaurant, yeah.
Young guy, a lot of passion. Really, really, really excited to work with him.
Excellent.
Did a tasting for Kevin, myself, my wife, and a couple other people. And every course, he did like 7 courses. Every course was just better than the next.
That sounds good.
Really excited about firing up the kitchen and the brewery equipment and getting to work.
Now, Tim, Elle was kind enough to hand me a sample of your menu here.
Yes.
And I've only made it 2 items in, and I'm already sold.
Which one did you see?
That was strategic.
Yes, I think so.
House Bacon Flight.
That's my
first
favorite.
one on the list there. That's a strategic decision to put that right there. But,
I got the local. I got down to the local burrata, and I'm like, I'm good. That's
burrata's
Shout
fantastic.
out Matt Meacham, executive chef, very talented, bro. Super cool, man. So
very cool.
And Tim is a food master.
But an awesome, just to give you a quick overview of what we've got here, they have a warm house pretzel, they have the house bacon flight, like Aaron mentioned, the burrata, oysters, prosciutto and arugula, butter lettuce BLT. Let's see, what do we got here? Meats and cheeses, sandwiches, plates, and all that stuff. Braised North Georgia pork belly. So this is a pretty.
Oh my God! You did that for the tasting.
Do we have some? Do you have a bacon flight with you today? So just to bring it in. So,
bring in the ladies.
Next time there. So
But again, you mentioned that you are a farm to table brew house, or want to be as much as possible.
I hate to use that term. It's kind of overplayed, honestly. But yes, we want to be as local, regional as possible. We want to support our local farmers, and that's really our drive. Get the best product we can. We're not going to be sourcing tomatoes from South Mexico. We want them local.
Sure.
And if they're not available local, we don't want them.
Mm-hmm.
Dig it.
So that's kind of what we're looking for. We're not going to be serving a strawberry salad in the middle of winter.
Yeah, that's good. You don't really want to expect that.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, like you said, the farm to table thing, that the term has almost got, using that term is, it's hipsters and all this stuff. But I mean, if you do that and you're dedicated to that as more than just the terminology, you get some really good product out of it.
Yeah.
There's a few places around here that do that, and they put out really good stuff. We were talking about Wrecking Bar a little bit earlier. And the stuff they have, they took it as far as having their own farm there.
Yes.
Yep.
And the stuff they're putting out is fantastic.
Yeah.
So
their food, their beers, they're on point. They are killing it right now.
Yeah.
And when you're from such a great agricultural region like Georgia and the Southeast is, there's really no excuse not to do it. Take advantage of it.
It's unfortunate when you're not. I mean, honestly, most restaurants, and again, I don't want to push the fact that we're fine dining or anything. I mean, this is going to be a casual atmosphere with great food. But in this level, when you're serving this kind of food, if it's not sourced locally, then it shouldn't be on the plate, honestly.
Yeah. There's a lot of weird food out there and processing going on, and to hear that, it's fine with me. I'm cool with farm to table.
And plus,
no complaints.
We've talked about here in the show recently that brew pubs really have elevated their game. Back in the day, back when we were younger, it was basically just frozen burger, fries, and they've got a few beers on tap. But now, they're winning Michelin stars.
Absolutely.
They're we've got places like Wrecking Bar and Five Seasons and Max Lagers and pumping out some fantastic food along with it. It's really kind of elevated its game over the years.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's good. I mean, the whole point of doing this concept is to give anyone a reason to come in. We want the best food. We want the best beer. We want the best cocktails. Again, the wine list is going to be amazing. And approachable. Again, being approachable. We're in a neighborhood. We want people to feel welcome and at home.
You're not too far from me. I'm just in Woodstock off 92.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm just a straight shot down there.
Good.
So
Woodstock's pretty cool, too.
Woodstock's, we're doing all right up there.
That is my spot.
We're a cool little spot up there now. Yeah, we got a brewery. We got a couple nice restaurants and a very cool beer bar. One of our sponsors, Truck and Tab.
Of course.
Super cool.
I'm doing an article on them. It comes out in 2 weeks.
Cool, man.
Nice.
Good deal. Yeah,
nice.
Awesome.
So what Tim was really saying is that he's just going to make sure the house bacon flight's going to be called the Dennis.
The Dennis.
Tim,
Let me get
exactly.
the Dennis.
I'll just
How
go
about
Tim.
money?
Timmy D. There we go. That's it.
There you go.
Give me the D money.
That's right. That's
it.
Now it's funny because kind of going back and forth about this. We talked to Jared Rubin. He's of Moody Tongue Brewing, of course, in Chicago, and he's got a lot of fine dining experience as well. We kind of talked about how it's kind of switched. Back in the 90s, early part of the 2000s, that a great restaurant was judged on its wine list, but now it seems like it's judged on its beer list.
Well, that's true. I mean, again, I just helped opening up Kaiser's Trap House, and that was a big influence. We wanted to make sure we had, again, we if people want to come in and have a good porter, we should have that to offer.
Yeah.
Again, being a steakhouse, there's not a lot of call for craft beer, but we had the Cosmic Debris on and we sold out in a week.
Yeah.
The cool things like that. It's great to see the community react positively to a cool beer list, even in a steakhouse.
Now, how much is your beer influenced by your food and vice versa?
Well, we will incorporate beer in a lot of the dishes, and I think that's kind of my when I was talking with Matt, interviewing him, that was kind of my direction. Was I want to incorporate our beers as much as possible in different braises, sauces, batters, whatever we can do to incorporate that. That's what we're looking to do. So, again, it's not going to drive the menu, but we're definitely looking. In fact, we have a little private room that accommodates like 10 to 12 people that is just for beer dinners, and I know Ale will probably speak.
He'll
to
be
that
all over that.
He's all over that.
Yes,
and wine pairings as well. I mean, or just tastings.
Sure,
it's got an entryway right into the brew house, and I think that could be a really cool little area.
Yeah, like Aaron was saying with the beer list and that, and Aaron, I understand what you're saying. I'm not sure if we've totally made that move to be judged by the beer list, but it's definitely where people take note of it now. And you've got us 30% or whatever that do care enough to where that's a decision maker for us. How is the beer list? That's and we want good food. Like you mentioned with brew pubs, it used to be you could throw a burger and chips on the menu, and if you had beer, that's all you needed. And shout out to JR. We mentioned Max Lagers.
Yeah.
JR's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
Good food and beer for going on 20 years.
Twain's, Hopsticks. I mean, there's so many of them out there. Yeah.
So that was that time when you didn't have to do that. So it's nice now that we're seeing places that take both sides seriously. We want to put out not just beer, great beer. And we don't just want to have a burger and fries available. We want to offer you a great meal. We want to give you a bacon flight and locally sourced, produce and such. So.
Great experience, the whole experience.
Absolutely.
The whole package.
Now, I stalked your LinkedIn a little bit, and all the mention of it was saying that you're into service and it's very important to you. Is a lot of training for your staff, especially when it comes to the beer and those types of things?
Absolutely, yeah. The training will be very intense. But good. We want it to be a comfortable experience. We want the staff to have the knowledge to be able to pass it along to the guests. And being honest, truthful, and upfront to the guests is of utmost importance. We want to blow smoke, I guess.
There you go.
Don't want to blow. So there we go. Watch it.
Look at it and the time marker.
No, we're good. We're good. That's it. Yeah. So yeah, that's important. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to wrap up with you in a minute, but we need to take a quick break. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Check us out at beerguysradio.com, and we'll be back right after this.
Hey, it's Aaron, and you're a fan of craft beer, right? And you want to know more about what's going on in the craft beer scene in Georgia? Thanks to the hard work from my co-host Tim, we are giving you the lowdown on the craft beer scene every week right in your inbox. Go to beerguysradio.com and sign up for This Week in Georgia Beer right at the top. We won't spam you, promise, or sell your name. Just good beer info every week. Plus, you can win great prizes from us. This Week in Georgia Beer, sign up today. beerguysradio.com. If you really like craft beer, the Stout Brothers Smyrna Beer Market invites you to their store. Not just growlers and craft beer, but everything you need for backyard barbecues and tailgating is available at Stout Brothers. Big Green Egg, accessories, local meats, cheeses, sauces, pickles, and more. If the gang's plans involve your backyard this weekend, you gotta visit the Stout Brothers. Stock up today and get ready for life. It's quite simple. If you really like craft beer, you have to visit the Stout Brothers Smyrna Beer Market in the Smyrna Market Village.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Let's vote. Let's vote race.
We're going to keep ready. Ain't no luck in vote race.
1, 2, 3, go!
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
And welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Did you like that jam?
I've been wanting some RTJ.
Me too.
But that's probably the most of that song you can play.
Well, I found the instrumental version of it, actually.
Okay.
So that helped a lot. Or else
Good
there would have been a lot
stuff.
of beeps and
All
things
right.
like that. So anyway, we are talking with the crew from the Earth Brew Pub, Tim Stevens, he's the owner, and beer maker, and he's made me a few beers, and I'm pretty happy about that. Ale Sharpton's also here, too, hanging out. But we've been drinking his beer. It may show now the 4 segment, because I always just go downhill on this 4 segment.
Me and Marquise were talking about you earlier.
I just kind of go 4 segments just
Segment
downhill.
4. Aaron's segment 4, man.
I just fine. I'll be
Gets
okay.
to
We're
it.
going streaking.
All
Exactly. Yeah, we'll be okay.
Well, Tim, we got a few more things we want to talk about. First, the stout, man. That is phenomenal.
Thank
we
you.
were sipping that during the break.
Thank you.
Just a fantastic, deep, rich aroma. Dark chocolate, coffee, roasty. That's really super good. You want a fireplace and some snow on the ground and a blanket and at least a 32-ounce glass of that. And you're good to go, man.
Yeah.
So
Jamie and Kevin really knocked it out of the park on this one.
that's awesome, man. That's great.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Yeah, before that we had a good classic West Coast IPA that you brewed as well.
Yep.
So I thought that was
Thank you.
nice with the Cascade. With this, you had not the Cascade hops,
Mosaic.
but the Mosaic hops, and just again nice little aroma in that. But it was a classic West Coast, a little bit of a pine. And Marquis still laughing at me. I'm like, guys, he's breaking my
4 segments.
exactly 4 segments. So I'm just gonna shut up. Exactly.
That's it.
There you go.
Just sit back and drink.
I'm
Aaron.
just gonna drink some. I'll be fine.
So
Okay.
anyhow, man.
That's
So
anyways.
Are you ready to give us a tease, an estimate, a guess on when we'll get to come enjoy your awesomeness?
Well, truly up to the GC at this point.
Okay, yeah.
But no, we have we're booking bands and we're shooting for October 14th. So
Okay.
if we're not open, we're gonna have a big old party out in the parking lot.
All right.
So,
Well, one where the bands are booked, so one way or the other, it's time to party,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Good deal. So if anything else you want to add that we missed here?
No, thank you very much for having us.
bet.
I really appreciate it. Yeah,
Okay.
it's been
You
fun.
guys are cool, right?
Yeah,
Had a good
yeah,
time?
yeah.
word
It's a
up.
fun time here, man. Even with Aaron getting sloppy drunk.
Yeah.
by
Right, I
the
know
fourth
what you're
segment,
talking
we're good to
about.
go.
Exactly.
So Tim, Al, if folks want to keep up with what's going on and know exactly when you're opening up, what's the best way to do that?
Probably Facebook is the best. We keep that page pretty up to date. We're also on Twitter. Twitter's not as up to date. Facebook and go to our website. It's still under construction. It's going live here in the next week or so. Sign up for our mailing list. We're going to start blasting some emails out as well.
Great. Awesome. Tim, thanks so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us, sharing your
Thank
beers, and we're looking forward to having your brew pub here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Cool. Now we got a couple more minutes. What's going on with you?
Oh, man, I can't wait to see my clip. I was on NBC this morning.
I saw that, actually,
where
yes.
I got to really sit down and dissect it, see how I did. But it was fun. It was National Beer Lovers Day, so the lovely ladies had me over there at Atlanta and Company. And this weekend, I'm hosting a VIP lounge for One Music Fest. I'll have some dope brews there, which is really fun. Shout out to Jay Carter. And then I haven't had a chance to actually buy a 6-pack from Brewery directly because I flew in September 1st from Seattle.
Oh, he's
That
like
was
traveling
days
all over the
ago.
place.
That was
Exactly.
days ago.
I know, but my schedule's been crazy. But I'm about to do that, so I can't wait to all those experiences. And then
It's an amazing experience.
Yeah.
Let me tell you that. You just walk
Yeah.
up, it's like, I'll have a 6-pack of this.
Oh,
it's,
man.
it's fantastic.
You know, you really wouldn't
can't
think
wait.
it was, but it seriously is going to a brewery here. And, you know, I went to all the madness of the grand openings, and that was fun, man. Just everybody excited in that. But I went to Dry County after the madness had died down. They've added more tables. They got arcade games. They got a jukebox. Garrett from Red Brick was there. The guys, you know, so we sat around. I grabbed a beer. I drank it casually. I went and got another beer and drank it casually, hanging out. I had a tab open. We played Jukebox Wars. People kept playing like the Frozen soundtrack.
I'm sorry.
So I had to play something else. I'm sure you've had plenty of that,
as,
right?
As the father of 2 daughters, yes, I know all about that soundtrack.
But it's just, it was very casual. You're hanging, just like going out, hanging around, talking to friends, drinking beers.
That's
so it's
awesome.
good stuff, man.
I can't
It's
wait,
awesome.
man. I can't wait. I've been envious in other states and finally have it in my home.
I know.
That's really
It's just phenomenal.
And congrats on you guys. If I give you all a shout out, you really are helping us in the beer scene and continue to do it, man. Definitely.
I appreciate
thank you
that.
all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're
man. We
invited back
appreciate it.
whenever
We
you
love
want
it.
to
That's it,
now
man.
that you
Absolutely.
got that in.
All
So,
day, baby.
excellent. Well, cool. Let's go ahead and check out this week's Hot List.
Time for the Hot List. The beer guys have the scoop on what's going on next week. Brought to you by CRL Contracting. We build breweries. CRLcontracting.com.
That's hot.
All right, let's go check out Alabama first. How about that?
Are you ready for this?
I think I am, actually.
You can do it, Aaron.
I can. Okay.
Tell us about Alabama.
Here we go. Yeah, so
first chug the rest of that.
I'll do that. So
stout
it'll be okay.
then, so.
I'll grab that one. I'll be all set. No, we've got Oktoberfest, of course, is here. People usually think that it's in October, but actually Oktoberfest is September and ends at the beginning of October, I believe. And they've got a lot of Oktoberfest celebrations in Bama at Redstone MWR, which is there on the base there. They're having a Oktoberfest celebration also at U.S. Space and Rocket Center. Hop City is having an Oktoberfest tasting, and Das Stahl Beer House is also doing one as well. So a lot of fun with that. 1-year anniversary party from Green Bus Brewing. That's going to be on Saturday. They're also going to combine that with a Hurricane Harvey fundraiser, too. We're going to have those guys from Green Bus on in a couple of weeks, so it should be a good time with them.
Very cool.
So congratulations for them. Pints for Prostates Thursday at Fairhope Brewing Company. And finally, Mobile, Lucky Town Brewery out of Mississippi.
Okay,
they're going to start
getting out there. Good
yeah,
deal.
They're starting to expand that distribution. They're going to have a tasting at Cottage Hill Package Store in Mobile, and that's going to be on Friday. So go ahead and check that out.
We
if you're
actually
down
have Lucky Town scheduled for our Drink This Beer podcast.
That's right.
Here in a little while.
Excellent.
So we'll talk to them as well. So.
What's going on in Georgia, sir?
Georgia, man, so much good stuff here. So on Sunday, tomorrow, Beer From Here does beer tours. It's their anniversary, so they are doing their Maiden Voyage anniversary tour. On Monday, Jekyll's hosting a homebrew gathering. Get together, share some of your homebrews, and talk with other homebrewers. They said they're going to try and make that a monthly event. This is just their first one, but check it out, see what's going on. On Wednesday, that's our good trivia night. We got team trivia at Your Pie Perimeter, and there's tacos and trivia up at Reformation in Woodstock. On Thursday, over in Athens, Creature Comforts is hosting an art party. And just a reminder, we've told folks for a long time about the Thursday Pint Nights at the Your Pie Perimeter. They've moved that to a monthly event, Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
The 21st of September is their next one. They're going to be doing a Eventide Pint Night extravaganza.
Okay.
So just mark your calendars
There
for
you
that.
go.
So then on Friday, Shelton Fest Session 10, Aaron.
That's
the fun
craziness,
doesn't have to
by
end.
the way.
So Timmy over at My Parents' Basement has some beers left and has some that got delayed getting up here to him. So they're going to tap those on Friday at My Parents' Basement there in Avondale Estates. And we have the Southern Beer Mile at Southern Brewing Company. And then next Saturday, Scofflaw celebrates their first anniversary.
Hashtag Scofflaw. Good to know.
Hashtag
There you go.
Scofflaw, man. So that's it. That's what we got going on.
Excellent. Well, cool. For a full list of calendar, check out beerguysradio.com. I just said for a full list of calendar.
For a full
didn't
list
I?
of calendar,
For a full
man.
list of
I love
events.
segment 4.
Check out our calendar at beerguysradio.com. Hey, Tim, it's time for a giveaway to give away.
It is time for a giveaway to give away. This week, we're giving away a very cool swag pack, all kinds of stuff. What do we have in our swag box, Aaron? We have glassware,
hats,
stickers,
shirts,
T-shirts, koozies.
I just gave away an awesome Jester King glass set there the other day, so it's good stuff.
So we got some cool stickers, L. Sharpton from the Earth. We got. We don't have beer in our swag.
Unfortunately, that is a little illegal, so we cannot do that. But anything that's related to beer, except for actual beer, we've got. So
okay, cool. And our winner this week is Sean O'Connor. Woo! Sean, thank you so much for subscribing. Drop us an email to beerguys@beerguysradio.com, and we'll get you a swag pack sent out. So, Aaron, if folks want to enter the mix to win a swag pack, how would they do that?
Well, Tim, it's easy. All you have to do is go to beerguysradio.com and sign up for This Week at Georgia Beer. You'll get a weekly newsletter with all the happenings at Georgia Beer, and you'll also be entered to win our weekly swag pack. There, that was my radio voice.
Take it away, Don Pardo.
That's right, everybody. Hey, so yeah, but we've got some time before we wrap up the show. Just cracked open, by the way, our Fortress of Sourtude from Wild Heaven. So
yes,
it's their peach sour. They had that also for the September 1st opening. So this is a tasty beer. Yeah. Absolutely.
So, El, you mentioned you just got back in from Seattle. What the heck you been up to, man? I see your pictures. You drive all kinds of cool cars and travel all around, staying in cool places and eating cool food and just being cool, right?
Well, I try, man.
Yeah.
Seattle was crazy. I was really outside of Olympia where they had us go. And they asked me, this is to test drive the Type R, the new, it's amazing, the Civic, stick shift, sports, it's hooked up.
Nice.
That's Honda. And I was ready to go to a lot of breweries in Seattle. They actually had me going to the outskirts. Like, they knew better, I guess, and had me out there in Olympia, which was cool. But there are some good beers out there. Like, there's some good stuff out there. So, and then getting back here, man, I just missed Atlanta. I was like, man, I miss y'all straight up. And that brewery opening with the September 1st law was just awesome. So I'm going to hit that up, man.
What are you looking forward to in the next few months or years here in Atlanta and then Georgia when the new laws kind of kick in?
People coming here to really realize how good of a brew state we are, really. I don't even want to say a brew town, brew state. So that and whatever you guys covering, That's
awesome.
enough. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Man.
Cool. Well, it's time to wrap up our show. Coming up next week, we're going to be talking to a brand new brewery as well, Chattabrewchee. Very excited to hear about those guys and check out what they're up to. We're going to have them again in studio next week. Check us out at beerguysradio.com and on the socials. And don't forget to drink local. We'll talk to you next time. Cheers.
Chattabrewchee.